Hello everyone, my name is Shelley Summerfield and I'm a student in Communications 110-E1. We have all experienced times in our lives when we are speaking and the words have not flown smoothly, but for those that suffer from fluency disorders, this happens all too often. People who suffer from severe fluency disorders are said to stutter on 50% of the words that they speak. Understanding of fluency disorders as an educator may be a true benefit to the education of a dysfluent student. I have been passionate and studied fluency disorders for greater than 10 years, as I have had the pleasure of raising a child who has a fluency disorder. A teacher's response to school-age children with a fluency disorder can have long-term effects on those students' feelings towards school. A teacher awareness to fluency disorder and their positive and or negative responses may impact that of the dysfluent student. Now let's take a look at a teacher's understanding and awareness of a fluency disorder and how their responses may impact that of the student. A teacher can and probably will play a crucial role in the adaptation of a student with a fluency disorder. According to Graham Daniel and his colleagues, early years of schooling are a significant time in the children's development, with implications for their educational achievement, future lives, and society. They believe that teachers need to be prepared with the skills required to support that of the students. According to the National Institute of Deafness and Communication Disorders, roughly 3 million Americans suffer from a fluency disorder. Stuttering occurs in people of all ages, genders, and races. It occurs most often in children between the ages of 2 and 6. Approximately 5 to 10% of children at some time in their life will experience dysfluency. It occurs more often, 2 to 3 times more often in males than female, and this number grows as a child ages. 75% of children will outgrow or overcome dysfluency, but that still leaves at least 1% of the world population with a fluency disorder. I believe it is especially important to note that students that stutter are no less intelligent than those that do not. Scott Uris and his associates believe that the overall goal as an educator is to help children who stutter communicate effectively while minimizing the likelihood that the stuttering will affect their lives negatively. Teachers may choose to educate themselves as to what the meaning of stuttering or dysfluency is, and according to Kumar and Varghese, the journal article, they define stuttering as fluency disorder characterized by stoppage of speech at a normally high rate and duration, and the stoppage can include dysfluencies such as syllable repetitions, word repetitions, prolongations, pauses, as well as the blockage of flow. Students will sometimes try to hide their dysfluencies from their teachers or educators, and that's where teachers or educators need to be aware of clues that alert them to dysfluencies, such as withdrawal of speech, peculiar phrasing, pitch or tone changes, stray movements of when they're talking, of either facial expressions or even body expressions, and multiple interjections at odd or unusual places. Repetitions occur when the student repeats the syllable more than one time, such as may I use the restroom. Prolongations occur when the student is holding on to a sound, such as science is fun. Word repetitions can be just one word or it can be multiple words when the student repeats it, such as I can't read the book. And blocks occur when the student is trying to talk and nothing is coming out. If a child does not receive prompt treatment, their stuttering can increase, their dysfluency can worsen. Given the large amount of time that a teacher spends with a student, they are a good one to make a referral to a speech pathologist and communicate the communication behaviors of the student that they are suspecting dysfluency on. Professor Williams, author of The Child Who Stutters, says stuttering is a highly individualized disorder, but resources are available to help that of the teacher and of the student. Professor Williams states that one area in which a teacher can play an important role is that of identification, and if a teacher suspects disfluency, they should make a prompt response to a speech pathologist. It is important for teachers to realize that positive and or negative reactions may influence positive or negative outcomes of the dysfluent student. Teachers' efforts to provide positive responses can help reduce secondary behaviors. It can help minimize avoidance. It can improve the student's communication skills, and it can increase self-confidence, as well as decrease the bullying effect and minimize the impact of stuttering on the student's life. They indicate that treatment should be aimed at increasing fluency and decreasing negative reactions, which will increase functional communication skills and minimize the impact of stuttering on a student's life. Teachers can help minimize the effect of stuttering on a student by letting them know that they are listening to what they are saying and not how they are saying it. Professor Williams writes that a teacher can lend support and assure their students that speech is not a problem or bothersome and allow the student to express their frustrations as need be. It is suggested that teachers form a positive relationship with both parents and speech pathologists as well as the student to build trust and to avoid detrimental effects. According to Daniel and Associate, understanding challenges is important for the supporting learning environment and educational outcomes of a child with a speech disorder. It is obvious that positive responses are beneficial to students with speech dysfluencies, but let's take a look at those of the negative responses. According to Jane McCormick and her associates in their published study, a negative response may lead to increased dysfluency. It can lead to poor academic performances as well as difficulty reading, and it can increase bullying on that of the dysfluent student. It can increase poor peer relationships and also higher rates of psychosocial difficulties compared to that of children of their own age. Professor Williams does indicate that teachers really should avoid and not assume that the child's stuttering will go away. They should not ever interrupt the student or finish their sentences for them. They should not tell the student to slow down or assume that the student is stuttering to gain attention or that they have a learning disability. The amount of stuttering that a student sometimes exhibits is often indicative of their environment and their interactions. High stress events can lead to an increased anxiety and fear, which in result leads to negative responses and causes an increase in student dysfluency. Yaris and Associates reference that the reduction in negative responses to stuttering will lead to an improvement in fluency. As you've heard, negative responses to dysfluent students may lead to increased dysfluency. In conclusion, it may be important that the teachers gain an awareness of dysfluency and respond positively for better fluency. A teacher's response to school-age children with fluency disorders can have long-term effects on those students' feelings towards school. Teachers' understanding, awareness, and providing positive responding and ridding that of negative responses can and probably will be beneficial for that of the student. Thank you for listening.